Hello and welcome. By the end of this video we will have the subframe, suspension, drive shaft and steering rack. I knew there was 4 things. We will have all of them fitted. That's the plan, we hope. But it's raining again. Typical. Hey what? Welcome to part 5. Okay, so first job I want to do is get the rest of the drive shaft out. And before I do that, we're going to drain the oil because otherwise it's going to pour out of there when we pull the shaft out. So it's easier to do it out of the drain plug in a controlled manner. So if you've never done it before, see a gearbox, this is where you empty from, that bolt there, and just up here is where you fill from. So you drain it out, and then when you're putting the oil back in, you fill it up until it just starts to weep out. And then you know you're at maximum and you nip your nut up. So that's how simple doing a gearbox oil is. So let's get it out, let's pop the drive shaft out. Okay, so now we're going to pop the end of the drive shaft out and we're going to pry it out with a bar, but just up in there you'll see there's the gearbox seal, so you've got to be careful with the pry bar, you'll undamage them. So this is something you don't want to rush. There it is, it's out. Now with it out you can see clearly how much damage is on that shaft. See, because it was knocked out of line so bad, it was really chunky his way around there, so there was no hope for reusing that one. So right now we set up to get the subframe under, start prepping to lift it up and bolt him in. As we can see, that's loosely bolted in place. I've only just done the bolts slightly. Reason being, watch this now, there's a lot of play in it. So if you look there, see how much play it is on the bolt? So that allows for adjustment. So the main thing is now is the subframe's got to be lined up. Doesn't seem to be any locating pins or anything I can see. So I'm going to have to do it all through measuring. So I can get my tape out, start taking some measurements and get it lined up best I can. Start getting a base from where I'm going to work from with the measurements, etc. If you look up there, I'm on the driver's side now, so can you see the marks there where the subframe would have been bolted before? So what I'm going to do is get as close to that as I can, nip that up, and then I'm going to pivot the rest of the subframe then on that and start taking my measurements. So I've got one relatively fixed point. I'm not going to fix it tight, there's going to be movement, but we're going to get a starting point and then square it all up from there. Right, so I expect this probably won't be the easiest for you to see, but I'm picking different points where to measure from. So we're measuring from this hole to this hole. There. Pinch him down. Then I'm going to cross to the other side, over here, and then we're matching him up. So at the moment, I've got a tiny bit of play here. So the subframe over this side's got to just tweak and come forward a bit. Here we are nice and snug. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do this in multiple places. I won't show you all of them, but you kind of get the idea. Just make sure the sides you're measuring from are an identical piece, because there's a couple of holes here that are not the same shape, so do multiple measurements and then you know you're going to have it square. I checked and double checked all my measurements. The other measurement I've took as well is the distance from the chassis here to the start of the subframe. So the two back bolts are tight, so it's not going to go anywhere. It's just a case of finishing off, tightening these up. Once I've done all that, I'll recheck again. So when I tightened these, I went back and rechecked, because when I put the subframe up with the gun, it can slightly move a bit, so it did move. I had to re-slack and readjust and do it again. So always check after you've tightened, and I'm going to tighten these up, check again. Right, with that done, I've just got a few more things to do under here. I've got to bolt up the gearbox mount, put the exhaust hanger on, and bolt on some cross bracing. So while I'm working hard, why don't you sit back and listen to some music? Just been looking along the front here now before I continue on, and none of you eagle-eyed people have spotted my mistake on the front end, and that is this trim here should be flipped upside down and across the top of the intercooler. I think it might be tricky to fit with the way the clips are, but I was looking at this, I was thinking, why is there scuff marks in there? Something should have been in there, and then when I looked at it, I thought, hang on, maybe that's the wrong way around. So let's get it switched around. There you are, that's better. Happy with that. Took a bit of cutting and chopping. Certain parts ended up breaking bits there because it didn't cut as clean and it broke. But it's on, and that should help the airflow a bit better. So, people, keep your eyes open. You need to pick up these mistakes. In the first video, if we go back to the first video and have a look at the comments on that, let me find you something. Right, you ready for this? I made a mistake in the very first video when I pulled this piece out from the passenger footwell. I said it's part of the wheel arch liner, which I thought it was, because the wheel arch liner is cracked up. But somebody pulled me to pieces for getting that little bit of plastic wrong. So, if you're going to pick me up on that, you better pick me up on the bigger things. Okay? Keep your eyes open. Right, next step now then is to get the yoke back onto the rack. So I popped it on, slid it down. We just got to put the bolt in. Try not to lose it down the carpet. You're not even looking here. Right. Hopefully I can get the gun on that and just buzz it in. Oh, gun's the wrong way. That's nice and tight. I don't want that falling out. Right, so now we're ready to get the suspension on this side. Suspension hub, drive shaft. I finished all that side, but it's harder to film over there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to crack on and you can watch. So what do you think of that then? All finished, all the suspension damage is fixed. Racks connected up, struts on, new drop link, brakes on, subframe, you've seen it, it's all done. So I think that will be enough for today. Before we go though, let me go and show you something. Yeah. Right, here I have a box full of Puma Speed modified parts that will be going on the car soon. I'm not going to show you what's in there just yet, because that's going to be coming up in a future episode. Probably won't be the next one, probably be about 2 episodes ahead. So for now, that is going to be the end of this episode, and we have gone over 6,000 subs. Unbelievable. As always, I feel like I'm thanking you every video now for the subs, because it is overwhelming. But thank you very much. Please keep subscribing, thumbs up, liking, commenting. It's all appreciated. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.